Hello, my name is Bruce Lynn, and I am the physics teacher here at Lou High. And as I normally do for these parents' nights, I'd like to start with a little experiment of a discrepant event. All right, so this is what we call a discrepant event. So when I drop this spring, which part of the spring will hit the floor first? Top, middle, the bottom? Well, let's find out. So what you just saw, again, is a discrepant event. Most people think that the bottom of the spring would land first. But actually what happens is the spring pulls itself back together with the forces of the spring being stretched and then pulled back together as the spring returns to its normal state, and then as the spring falls, it lands together. And actually, the middle of the spring is where it actually lands at. So the two ends come pulling together, and it lands and ends on the floor. I've been doing physics here at Lou High for 10 years or so. I have been doing physics at Fort Zumwalt for about 30 plus years before that, and graduated with a bachelor's degree at through Seward, Concordia, of course, and picked up a Master of Education in Physics from the University of Minnesota along the way. The course that we have here is equivalent to the first semester of what is normally a 3-semester physics course in college. And your students will be able to, if they and you agree that that's what you want to do, to take this class for actual college credit through Missouri Baptist University. So you will be allowed to do that in a week or 2 or 3 whenever Missouri Baptist University folks get out here. They will guide the students, I hope, through this process of how to sign up for the college credit. Now, this college credit thing is kind of a good, bad kind of thing, depending upon how you look at it. It's the cheapest, or some of the cheapest college credit you as parents are ever going to see from your students. And from that standpoint, it's a good thing. The downside is if your student is planning on going into some kind of technical field, you might want to still take the class for college credit, but you may not want to call it physics credit. So if you're going to another university, you may want to have, or they may want to start at the beginning of the physics sequence, and then they'll kind of get tuned in to the way that university does their physics. We can talk through that through class when we get there at that point in the course of things. I have 2 other things that I would like to make you aware of tonight in this video presentation. First is that you should know that Lou High is a great place to learn and to teach. The students here are awesome. It's a pleasure to be in class with them, even under the circumstances that we have right now, but it's still a lot of fun to be with your kind of very talented students. The other thing I wanted to make you aware of is this is a tough class. This is the most mathematical of the sciences that we offer here at Lehigh. And it can be intimidating even for the top-notch students that your sons and daughters are. So if you run into a situation where your son or daughter is doing physics homework and you're hearing, should we say, unorthodox language coming out of their room while they're working on their physics, or if you hear or see a physics textbook go flying across the room, they're not authorized to do experiments with their physics book in that manner. They're supposed to keep those safe. They can do it with some of their other textbook, but not their physics textbook. So if that occurs, then we obviously have a problem, and the best way to solve it is to have your student come talk to me, say, hey, I've got some problems, and we'll get them, work with them, I will work with them to get it straightened out. If they're a little bit shy about approaching their physics instructor, then perhaps you need to kind of go around a little bit, and if you can't encourage them to do that, the next best thing is if you will send me an email. My email address is on the screen behind me. It's also in the syllabus inside Canvas, so you can find it there and if you need to contact me for whatever reason. And in that event, then I will initiate contact with the student and see if there's some problem and how we can work through it. Thank you for this opportunity to interact with your students as we help them get an education. Good evening.